anyway. So
So
tell me,
is he Somali? What does
Yeah,
he look like?
yeah. Speaking of, I think Given mentioned racist comments and microaggressions. What
Here we
about the comparison between Black Lives Matter protests and riots and the Capitol riots that happened this month?
It's an irrelevant comparison.
No, it's not, man.
Irrelevant? No,
Disagree with what you just said. What?
what do you mean? You raised that up. Like you mentioned, you were the one who brought it up in our conversation.
So basically, it's a. If you want to compare the riots, yeah. First of all, you have to compare
What they were about, man.
the intent of what the riot was about. At the same time, you have to compare just the first BLM riot. Okay, you can't compare all the other riots to go past that, because this is the first Capitol Hill riot. Okay, there was no other riots going on.
Were they not in Washington D.C. as well with the BLM protests?
Well, wherever the first BLM
it was
protest
spread
happened,
out throughout the U.S. Spread out throughout the U.S.
When was the first protest? There had to be one that started everything. You know what I mean?
Right after the brutal murder of George Floyd.
Yeah,
So-
and
so
they
the
marched
first-
to the Capitol. They marched to the Capitol, bro.
It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same day. It was like a few weeks after that one. A few days after that one.
The thing is that they
A few
announced.
days after, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But it was throughout the U.S., yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That whichever the first protest was, you have to compare that first protest was to this riot protest was. But at the same time, I
Hold
feel
on,
like it's-
hold on. Before you pass it on, because I've followed BLM for 4 or 5 years, yeah. And
Mhm.
if we want to talk about the organization, the movement itself, it started years ago, and when it happened in Ferguson in 2014 after
So
the
the
death
first
of Michael
protest.
Brown.
So let's
Yeah.
look at the first protest. Yeah.
Michael Brown in Ferguson. Half of the town center was burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
People were looting. That was a very important
Mm-hmm.
shift when it comes to Black Lives Matter and protesting. It went ballistic, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And because it wasn't in a very important place in America, like Ferguson is just another city in America. So it didn't have the same
Weight.
hold as the capital, but
Yeah.
buildings were being burnt down. Like it went violent, okay? So we want to make that comparison. Then we
Yeah.
can go.
So there we go. We have to make that comparison between that
Yeah.
protest and this protest.
Yeah.
So what the major differences is?
To me, there weren't no differences. I
Wait,
feel
no,
like
hold
they were
on.
the same.
Wait, pause. Wait, you're saying
No.
compare which protest are you comparing? Because I swear
The first,
there was a
the
protest.
first of both. If we want to, we're talking about the movement, where the movement started, right?
You can't
If it
compare like
started
50
with protest-
protests to one protest. You know what I mean? It's kind of
It's not 50 protests though, because if
No,
you
that's
think
what we're
about it,
saying. Given
yeah.
mentioned that where did it originate from? If the capital is the origination of
Of
Proud
whatever
Boys
more
and
protests.
movement,
yeah.
the Black Lives Matter started several years ago with one protest as well. It was in
Yeah.
Ferguson, and literally that's what we're talking about, where this type of movement originated from, and we'll make that comparison. Yeah, so
Fine. No, that makes sense. Okay, then.
So,
Cool.
but
All right.
My
it's
point is-
completely different things. Like if people want to say the comparison, I think is like if black people stormed the Capitol, what would happen instead of the white people the majority of white people that stormed the
I
Capitol.
said the same thing because a lot of things happen throughout the
but
riots, right after the Capitol riots. You
See,
can't say
I think BLM was such a huge movement that there was more police force out because
Obviously,
they saw
yeah.
it coming. They saw it coming. They had time to kind of calculate that this is happening.
Yeah.
But Trump,
they had time. They had time for the Capitol one as well, because they
but
announced they were
no.
coming to the Capitol.
No. Trump just said, "Hey guys, march on Capitol and support the weak Republicans and give them strength." That's why he told them to march on the Capitol. He didn't
Yeah.
tell them to go burn down or do all this.
it was
like,
literally
break
meant to
in.
be like another rally.
He didn't tell them to break in, but he told them to obviously go and have a show of strength for our fellow, Republicans.
Yeah.
So, like, same with
It
BLM.
started off
obviously,
like a
same
normal
with
protest,
BLM.
right?
They didn't tell people to go out and burn whatever. But
It
again,
was just a
few
protest. Yes.
people in there were just like, "F it, let's ruin this whole. I hate this. Let's go." The aggressors.
The
I mean,
radicals.
the radicals did damage.
But you have to look at the outcome and the result, right? The outcome as well as what actually happened. So
4 people
Capitol,
died in
yeah,
Capitol.
yeah.
And
Obviously, you
in
got
that first Ferguson, do you know how many people died, if any?
No, we
In
don't know. We don't.
Ferguson, maybe injured, but not died. Just the
No one
victim
died.
of police brutality. That's it.
Okay, that's okay then.
And then also what they were protesting as well. So they were protesting police brutality, which is a human rights. That's human rights. And then they're protesting because they lost an election. Come on now.
Yeah, the reasons are insane.
The way,
Yeah,
I'm just
like. But then again, this is
we're talking about how it was dealt with.
It's
Okay?
so weird. It's so
National Guard should have been on job. They were not on job.
When but they weren't ready. That's what I'm saying.
It took time as
they
well.
Couldn't have been ready. The National
Guard
took time to come.
BLM. Yeah, the same thing.
It wasn't like it doesn't just come like then and there. It's like because of BLM was such a huge movement, they saw the social media outrage and people are saying, we're gonna protest. So I'm guessing what do you call them? The CIA, FBI, whatever them guys are called. They probably told the president, hey, there's media rumbling saying that people are gonna protest across all 50 states. Get army here so it doesn't turn into a crazy situation.
A longer process.
So they were prepared.
Yeah.
But if you know, like a few Trump supporters are gonna go, and this is the thing, for Trump supporters, they pride themselves on Blue Lives Matter, So they're not gonna think, oh, the Trump supporters are gonna come in and break in the Capitol, because for them, they think the Trump supporters support the government. They support white people.
The establishment.
They support
they support the establishment.
Exactly. They support America. They support the establishment. So they think they're going to respect the establishment. So they're going to have a massive force there to protect. They're just going to have the same amount of people they have there as per usual. Maybe a few bolstered up forces. You know what I mean?
Like 10 guards or something.
Well, did you not see that hallway where all those police were like rammed in? And that one police officer was screaming.
Yeah. That was chaos.
That was wild.
It makes sense. Like, look, I get it. If you have like 100 to 1, I understand. You're not gonna one cop ain't gonna fight 100 people. But why let them back out again?
Let me explain. You can tell how conflicted the whole scenario was. It was meant to be like another rally supporting Trump against the government that's taken over, right? And they're known for being Blue Lives Matter, as Given said, and part of the so in support of the
law and order.
America, whilst BLM was completely about changing it and
breaking down the structure.
So why would they expect so much tyranny? So
violence from the people who like the structure.
Yeah, so essentially they did. Like if you watch the clips throughout that day till the evening, it exponentially the police came in, but with force.
By force, yeah.
So it changed drastically. We're seeing clips of all the times when police were sort of like not doing anything, but overall shit went down because it went too far. It wasn't expected. So what I'm saying is there was no difference in how the government or the law enforcement
police handled it.
Yeah. They just react the same way as the protesters. The protesters are peaceful. They're peaceful. If they cross the line,
they got shot.
Boom.
And lo and behold, what happened is and I have to commend the police in some way on this fact. Some people are saying, police didn't do their job. They actually did their job, but very smartly. Because if you think about it, if all these protests were about police brutality, police now have to not be brutal. So now they're thinking, I can't shoot my gun at people. I have to make sure I'm conservative with the way I use force, because otherwise, shit will go down and more protests about police brutality. And now we're going to lose the support of these so-called, Republicans and Trump supporters. They're going to be like, oh, fuck the police now as well. So they have to think about all those factors and think, okay, I can't use that much force. So for them, what they did is like, look, if you don't have the support to use force, we can't let a few officers get beaten. Did you see that one police officer who died?
Yeah.
The way he was getting dudes were whacking him with pipes, and bro, these guys were savage. So they thought, look, for us not to end up in like a situation where our 10 police officers per se, 10 police officers get whacked and killed, let the people through, evacuate once everyone's evacuated, the building is then just a building. Who cares about the building? It's just a building. Once the important people are evacuated, the building's a building. Let the people run through if they want. We will catch all those people in there anyway.
Lock the building down. Once they're in the building, lock it down.
No. But the thing is, like, you don't want to entrap. You don't want to entrap people, because then people go crazy and they'll start doing some crazy shit. So what they want to do is just funnel them in, make them feel like they've accomplished something, and then they can get out. Once they're tired, they'll get out. They can't stay there forever. You understand? So they let them maneuver into the areas they knew were safe or were cleared. So go into those areas, hang out there. We don't care about those areas.
They look satisfied, as they should have.
And then the people are satisfied. They were sitting, taking their selfies. And now,
so you agree with the police taking the selfies and everything?
now guess what?
They want more.
Justice is being served because now they're all getting arrested. They're all losing their jobs.
Being tracked down.
There was a woman who was trying to get a flight. She's trying to get a flight out of DC to go to her state, and they issued a warrant for her arrest. When she got to the airport, they said, "You're not flying because you issued a warrant for your arrest for the rioting at the Capitol." And she started crying. "Oh my God, I didn't do that."
Oh yeah.
Bruh.
It was on Insta.
It's all over here. It was on Instagram.
Yeah, it was on Insta.
So now they're getting the just desserts. So the police handled the situation as they should have, I think, in my opinion. They did what they had to do. Like,
I feel. I mean,
if it was Black Lives, I think if it was post BLM, if Black people did that, they would handle it the same way. Pre BLM, there might be a lot more shooting, I think.
yo, what I'm saying.
Pre BLM, there might be a lot of shooting because police would not be wary of the force they're using. They think, I'm fine.
A lot more wary. I think it raises a lot of awareness, both
that's
in
what
law.
I'm saying. The BLM raised a lot more awareness, but
I would say that's
pre-BLM,
one benefit that came from the movement. This whole movement.
But more police awareness and accountability as well.
I'm just thinking about just the audacity to riot over something so.
And
so
I was telling
you didn't get your way.
It was really just meant to be a protest.
But this is the thing, like for these
people,
people,
which hasn't been stormed since 1833. What?
Yeah,
for these
I get
people,
it.
This is their whole life.
No, we're not from America, so we don't know what that means, right? But for them, that capital, that it's never been what do you call it? How do you say?
Stormed.
It's never been stormed. It's not been breached in
a while.
You know what I mean? So for that to happen, how do you even let that happen?
Very
strange. But that's what I'm saying, because they know it's like when you get comfortable. It's like when things get comfortable, people relax. If you know your house, let's say your house got robbed once 30 years ago, eventually you're gonna start to relax. It's probably not gonna happen again. And when you're least expecting, you get robbed again. It is what it is. Now
you have to also think about it like this, right?
Yeah.
If it was like, we're gonna go into the Capitol and storm the building, we're gonna plan this. If it was out there,